Dramatic Leinster football quarter-finals as Meath took on Laois. Your commentator here is John Kenny.
There's one late change in the Meath team. It's a significant one. Captain Nigel Crawford hasn't recovered from a back injury. He's replaced at midfield by Brian Mead. Kevin Riley returns to action for today's quarter-final against Laois. He makes his first competitive start for Meath in more than a year, having been plagued by back problems. His inclusion at full-back means a change in the Meath defence as veteran Anthony Moyles moves to centre-back, Michael Burke goes to right half-back, and Gary O'Brien drops to the bench. Paul Cahalane, who once had a trial with Celtic, makes his senior debut for Laois, who make their first appearance in this year's Leinster Football Championship. Cahalane is named alongside fellow under-21 player Donny Kingston and Ross Munnelly in the full forward line. Cathal Ryan has been named at centre-back. That also includes Ciara Healy on his right and Colin Begley on his left. Begley will also make his first championship appearance since his return from Aussie Rules, where he played with St Kilda's and the Brisbane Lions. Referee Marty Duffy gets us underway here at Croke Park in this Leinster quarter-final, and immediately it's Laois into the attack, and perhaps a chance for an early score, but coming from his line, that's Paddy O'Rourke to smother that danger. To Anthony Moyles. This is the first meeting of the side since the 2006 qualifier, which Laois won. They also beat them back in 2004 in the Leinster Championship. Of course, this is Laois's first outing in the Championship. Meath have already taken the scalp of Offaly in the opening round. Bit of defending to do for Owen Harrington. Laois perhaps with a chance to pop over the first score of the game. And that's gone to Darren Strong. Good opening salvo in the first minute of the game from Laois. And the man from Emo, who made his debut in the O'Byrne Cup back in 2009, gets the opening score for Laois. Meath, for the first time in the game, getting something going in an attack, and there's a push on Joe Sheridan, which the referee spotted, and a chance for Meath to open their account. And Cian Ward is the man to take this free for Meath. So Ward then with a chance to level up the score, should pop this over the bar easy enough, and that's Meath's opening score in the third minute of the game. Fisted backwards. Kevin Meaney tries to pick it up. It is Meath with Cian Ward. It's a bit of a skyer from Ward. Tries to play it into the full forward line. Here's Joe Sheridan, and a goal for Meath. Graham Riley slams it to the back of the Laois net. There's a long high ball from Ward. Sheridan in the tussle, and the ball broke nice and kindly. In fact, it was a nice clever flick from Sheridan to find Riley, and Riley scores the first goal of the contest. That's not a great fisted pass there by Seamus Kenny, and that should be a free. As Ross Munnelly goes to ground. This is straight in front of the posts. Kingston then with a little preamble and taps it over the bar, reduces the margin to 1. Meath 1-1, Laois 3 points, 9 minutes gone in the first half. Having a bit of defending to do now with Seamus Kenny. Here's Bray. Bray's attempted pass is blocked down, but picking it up is Graham Riley. Riley with a chance to extend Meath's advantage, and does so. And he's only in his second senior game after his debut against Offaly in the opening round. And a good score from Riley. Meath beat Offaly in the first round of the Leinster Championship 120 to 2-7. But the feeling that this would be a tougher contest. Here's Brian Mead. It's proving to be so far. O'Rourke now changes passes between himself and Riley. Riley with another chance of a point. We got the opening goal for Meath. He scored 5 of Meath's tally of 1-3. They broke it up in the centre of the park. And here's Craig Rogers, but in the act of picking the ball up, the referee deemed that he actually picked the ball off the ground. Here's Sheridan. Sheridan now with a chance to score. That's a lovely point from the stand-in captain. He scored 1-3 against Offaly in the opening round, and that's his opening score. And Meath, after a little bit of a shaky start, lead by 7 points to 3, 1-4 to 3. Meath have weathered an early storm, scored that goal in 2 by Graham Riley, and certainly have been the side that have taken their points when they've come to them. Here's Kingston though for Laois. Has a look at the post. That's a great swinging point from Kingston. No second bidding really there from Kingston to put over his 3rd point of the contest. Set up play by Billy Sheehan. Back to Kingston, and first time over the bar. Cian Ward. That's a lovely score from Ward, is it? Oh, it isn't. It looks all the way from our angle here that it was going straight over the bar, and it just hit the inside of the post. This was the chance for Ward. High hanging ball, and very unlucky to see that ball drop into the arms of Mark Timmins. Meany in towards the tall Kingston. Roy Clancy gets his first touch of the afternoon as we're into the last minute of the first half. Meath still leading 1-5 to 5, and that all-important goal from Graham Riley. There's a chance for O'Rourke. A nice finish by O'Rourke, his first point of the game. O'Rourke, at one stage, linked with a move to Queensland and the Aussie rules. Said he wasn't interested. Here's Mead. There's a man overlapping, decides to play it instead to Sheridan. Sheridan plays the short hand pass to Graham Riley. Riley, a nice score, left-footed from Riley. Takes his tally to a goal in 3. And Meath lead 1-7 to 5, 5 minutes into the second half. Here's Colin Begley. Kingston. Can Kingston put it over the bar? Yes, he can. That's his 4th point of the afternoon for Donny Kingston. A good finish by Kingston with the left boot as well. Here's Munnelly. That's a good ball by Munnelly out to McMahon. McMahon raiding forward from his cornerback position. A chance here for McMahon. Raids in a goal! Well, that's what they needed, Laois. That really was a terrific finish by the Laois captain with the left boot, and gave Paddy O'Rourke absolutely no chance. What a finish. Meath have had a lot of possession in this game, but they haven't converted that possession, and now Laois are suddenly back in the contest. Although here's Mark Ward. Cian Ward. Sheridan's the free man. Sheridan steps inside his man. That's a nice finish by Sheridan. A good response as well by the stand-in captain. Cian Ward. O'Rourke. Can he extend that advantage to 3? Yes, he can. Second score of the afternoon for the Simonstown Gales man. Kingston calling for the ball down below us. He's got acres of room to work with here. In towards Clancy. Clancy tries to pick it up ahead of Riley, and Clancy does so and turns and pops it over the bar. Margin back to a single point now. Corey Clancy in the 67th minute reduces the margin to 1. 113 to 112. And Laois have clawed their way back into this contest after seeming to be down and out. Here's the man who scored that superb goal for them, Padraig McMahon. Here's Munnelly. Munnelly back to Clancy. Can he level up the contest? Yes, he can. And it's all square at Croke Park. 68 minutes on the clock. And Laois are level. Chance for Meath perhaps to get the winning score. We're into the last minute of the game here, plus stoppage time. Here's Sheridan, and he's put it wide. Well, he's claiming it went over, but the umpire has said it's gone wide, and Sheridan's questioning that to referee Marty Duffy, and Duffy's having none of it. He's going with the umpire. Here it is again. And it's hard to tell from that, really. Here's Paddy Byrne. Byrne, the substitute. Can he win it for Meath? Inside to O'Rourke. And a chance for Byrne. It's blocked down. Referee looks at his watch. It's all over. And we're into 2 periods of extra time. Here's O'Rourke. Brian Farrell. O'Rourke. Another substitute for Meath. And it's swinging. And it's gone over the bar. Conor Gillespie from Summerhill pushes the advantage out to 2. Laois thundering forward here. Chance perhaps of an equalising score. It's all level. And that's the end of the opening 10 minutes of extra time. 10 minutes to go, and we're back to an even contest. Stephen Bray. Here's Sheridan. He's got Peter O'Leary for company. Sheridan hops it. That's a great ball in towards Bray. He's got a man in the centre. Can he use him? Does he need him? No, he doesn't. Stephen Bray scores his first point of the afternoon to give Meath a 1-point advantage. And Stephen Bray is not too impressed by that decision from the referee. Quickly taken. Here's Kingston with the left boot. Is that swinging? It's high enough. Is it gone over the bar? What a score from Donny Kingston. Needed no second bidding to put his 6th point of the afternoon straight over the black spot, and Laois are level again. Meath have the ball in the centre of the park with Paddy Byrne. Byrne initially dispossessed, but here's Conor Gillespie. Gillespie up to the 45. Meath have a chance here now to regain the lead. That's high hanging ball from Cormac McGuinness, and it's gone to the back of the net. Oh dear, oh dear. Michael Nolan. Well, calamity for poor old Michael Nolan. That ball high hanging from McGuinness, and it slipped through the goalkeeper's hands. And Laois have it all to do it again. It's 2-13 to 1-13. Laois trailing by 3. And poor old Michael Nolan is distraught in the Laois goal. Tierney with this free. Can he pull it back to 2? Does so. Puts over his 3rd point of the afternoon. A 45-2 freeze. Laois trail by 2. Can they make up for that goalkeeping mistake? Here's Tierney. Chance perhaps of a goal. And it's gone over the bar. And John O'Loughlin is the man to get that point. Laois have a chance perhaps of an equalising score here. The play certainly deserves it. Here's O'Loughlin again. O'Loughlin right-footed, equalises. John O'Loughlin may have sent this game to a replay. We're in the last minute. Nicely controlled, shifted from his left to his right and put it over the bar. Referee urging him to get on with the play. And that's it. All over. They'll have to go back another day. Michael Nolan especially gets out of jail. It's ended in a draw at Croke Park. Meath 2-13, Laois 1-16. We've gone to a replay.
Poor Mickey was unfortunate, but the rest of the team got him out of trouble there, and we had the last chance of the game. I think fitness is not an issue with us now. Try and keep fresh for next week, and hopefully we can go the whole way next Saturday evening.
We were 5 points ahead at one stage in the second half, but we never really, I suppose, put that little bit of extra daylight between us and Laois. And coming into the last 10 minutes, most games, if the game is in the melting pot, depends on, you don't know what's going to happen. And they got the break of the goal, well taken score, and that put the game into the melting pot. And with whatever time was left, there was only 2 points in it, and they had the momentum then at that stage. And I suppose we were lucky that we were able to hold on, for the draw match.
Yeah, and the replay next Saturday evening in Tullamore at 7 o'clock. Well, Colm, you were in Croke Park today. Should Meath maybe have put Laois away when they had that significant lead?
Well, when Meath were 5 points up midway through the second half, they were very much on top in the game and missed a few chances. And it nearly always happens in games. A team will get their period of dominance, and Laois came back and they were full value for their draw at the end of normal time. Like the last 10 or 15 minutes of the game, they were the better looking team and played the better football at that time of the game. And if I had to go on for a few minutes more, as Eamon O'Brien said, it looked as if Laois were in control.
And again, I suppose Laois had to come back after the sickener of conceding the goal.
That's right. Meath had the game won twice. Once in normal time, 5 up, then went 3 up with only a few minutes left in the game, and really should have been able to hang on. But Laois again showed great battling qualities and came back and forced the issue all the time, and had a couple of great chances, scored great points from play to equalise the game, and probably will be going into the replay now feeling very good about themselves.
Right, normally goals win games. Today was obviously a draw, but take us through the goals.
Well, the conditions today were poor, and it was very wet, very slippery all through. And the first Meath goal is a kick from Keane Ward, which dropped short, and Joe Sheridan very good under the high ball and shows great vision to get the ball across to Graham Riley, who finishes beautifully into the net. Graham Riley had a brilliant game for Meath today. He was the top scorer. And, Laois looked out unless they got a goal. Pádraig McMahon moved up from cornerback. A poor enough tackle by Mark Ward on him, let him around him easily. Even though he's wearing number 31, that was just for a blood injury. And he really sticks it into the roof of the net. And that lifted Laois at a time when they looked as if they were down and out.
Fairness to McMahon, it puts Mark O'Shea's point in the halfpenny place with the finish he had there.
Yeah, he was moving up from cornerback, and he caused problems moving up during the game.
The other goal, of course, could have been crucial and dreadful. You don't like to highlight on a fella, but for Mickey Nolan it was.
Yeah, it was a terrible thing for him. Yeah. Cormac McGuinness goes for a point, and he has his Rob Green moment, back and back. Loses the ball. Now, one thing I'd say was it got terribly dark for a while in Croke Park today. In fact, they turned on the lights for the second game. Obviously, Meath and Laois weren't worthy of being illuminated, so they hadn't the floodlights on for that game. He may have lost. It was very, very dark at that time, a bad moment. But again, his outfield players rescued him. And talk about that, because they showed composure, didn't they? They certainly did. When they brought in Pádraig Clancy and put him in at full forward, he sort of became a fulcrum of their attack, and they had more to aim at in terms of size. And Kevin Riley did very well at full back for Meath after a year's absence, but Clancy takes a very short backswing there, gets the ball away quickly and gets it over the bar. And at this stage, Laois were rampant. Donny Kingston had moved out the field, and John O'Loughlin, who came on as a sub, then he kicked the last 2 points to equalise the game. So at that stage, Laois were attacking on all fronts and, looked the better team at that stage. O'Loughlin there pulls off his left back onto his right. And it was a draw, I think, I'd have to admit, as a Meath man, that Laois fully merited.
All right, big talking point. Joe Sheridan thought at the end of normal time his point should have counted. What was your view?
Well, you know, it looks as if when you see it from behind, Joe immediately thought it was a point himself. A lot of the Meath players, you knew by their actions, contested it with the umpire. Joe says to the referee, Marty Duffy, who incidentally had a very good game. You know, I've criticised him in the past. I thought he had a very good game today. It appears as if it's swinging inside the post at the end. Maybe it goes right over the top of the post, but I think it would have been rough justice on Laois.
Was it a point, Anthony, in your view?
I don't think you can tell from the pictures there, and I think it's one thing when we had rugby in Croke Park that we could have retained was the much higher posts that they use in rugby. Had we had higher posts today, that we wouldn't be sitting talking about whether that was a point or not.
Tomas?
It looked from that it was over the bar, but I think we're going to get a lot of close calls like that all of the time, and you know, you're going to if you know, but you just have to get on with it.
Were you impressed that Laois got that draw? Would you have expected that today?
Yeah, well, again, Laois had a fairly disappointing year last year. They got a bit better this year. So I think the game today will really bring them on. They needed a game like that because Meath are a quality outfit and they move the ball very well. And I think it's good for Laois in that. And I think it's going to be a great clash next weekend.
Yeah, should be one to look forward to. Well, the entry of the Dubs always brings an extra bit of excitement, I suppose, to the Football Championship. And it was no different today as they took on Wexford in Croke Park. Watching this one was Jimmy McGee.
Even dedicated Dubs devotees may find it difficult to recognise this team in transition. Among the backs, Michael Fitzsimons, Philly McMahon and Cian O'Sullivan are making first championship starts. And in the forwards, Niall Corkery and Kevin McManaman are also championship debutants. It begins as a good news day for Wexford. After an absence of nearly 2 years, Matty Ford is back. And in the forward line with Kieran Ling and Redmond Barry, it's a formidable looking side captained by David Murphy. New look Dublin team. A little too heavy. That looks like a hamstring pull for Cian O'Sullivan right at the top of the game. As he was running away, if ever you see a hamstring, that's it. And that will surprise me. And it won't get any better by running on it, Cian. I'm sure they've noticed it on the sideline. Wexford going for the first score of the game. Well lifted up. And that's terrific man himself, Kieran Ling in there. Deadly he is, Ling. Great scorer. David Murphy. This is Brian Malone. Colin Keeney being brought back, way back defensively to chase him. That's Malone has gone down and stayed down. It's into Bradley. And what can he do with it? I'll tell you what he can do. He can make the umpire bend his back. And Wexford go 2 points ahead. This is astonishing. They're not able to hit the ball, and there's no confusion with the shirts they're wearing. Look at, there they are again. Now, who'll be the first man to hit the ball with a kick to one of his own? Here's David Henry. Just about counts on the more, but it works. Cal for Dublin. And here's a man who can score from any angle. And just to prove my point, he does. It's Bernard Brogan, his second point. Dublin's second point. Kieran Ling is the number 13 for Wexford. He's a roving commission. He's a player who's going anywhere and everywhere. There's loose play, and he can pick up the ball and create. Here he is again. Looks around, looks for the options. Matty Ford comes close to him, brings a marker away. Wexford playing real good stuff, except that Shane Rhodes couldn't finish that move. It's 45. Redmond Barry. Nice gentle follow through and straight over the black spot. 3 of Wexford's forwards have scored, only 1 of Dublin's players have scored. Works out all right. It's with Keeney. Going to break out for Paul Flynn. Right behind him is Bernard Brogan. And he may need him. Now he's going it alone. It's a good point. It's a very good point from there. Paul Flynn, the scorer. And that's a really good score. And that truly is an uplifter from Alan Brogan. Joe Brennan bubbling up an attack. Keeney plays the little ball inside to Bernard Brogan. Bernard Brogan to O'Gara. O'Gara bearing down and goal. And Anthony Masterson comes out. And Brogan again bearing down on it. And something is happening in the Dublin ranks. Bernard Brogan again. He's the scorer. Good block in the initially by Anthony Masterson. Ross McConnell got a hand to it. David Fogarty did a good piece of work there. Wexford just all gathered together in the midfield now. They want to lose the run of themselves. And down goes a Wexford man. Bestick was the man who was closest to him. And other than that, a reserve judgment. Linesman was pretty close as well. It's a straight red for Dennis Bestick. Things bad enough when you're in the rears. Then to lose a man unnecessarily. Just when the team was gathering a bit of life. But it's not over yet. Keeney into Brogan, Bernard Brogan. And it's buried. What a goal by Bernard Brogan. Masterson did his darndest to keep it out of the goal. But the hill is alive to the sound of Brogan. Outplayed, outshone, outtaught for most of the game. Dublin are back in business. Adrian Morrissey. Out comes O'Carroll. Flynn has it for Wexford. Shane Roach. And that'll do. Terrific second half. A first half that was, well, one-sided. Conal Keeney now has got 2 points in the game today. Maybe this will be 3 for Keeney from Ballyboden St Enda's. Maybe becomes certainty. The second half, for sheer excitement and competitiveness, bears no relation at all to the first half. The Wexford have the ball. Game in time added on. Matty Ford in possession and fouled by Ger Brennan. Ger Brennan isn't on a yellow card. Yes, he is. Off he goes. Dublin with 13 players. He can blow up any minute now. And that minute is now. It's finished level. Cawley takes it. Tomas Quinn has his angle right, and that's off the post as well. One side, one the other. Oh, what a goal! What a goal! I will give you 150 guesses who got it. You'd only need one. Bernard Bergen. At Dublin on the break again. New lease of life. Barry Cow, Ross McConnell, Conal Keeney. Brogan shows for it early, gets it. Only Tomas Quinn in the middle. That's a great effort by Brian Cullen. Brian Cullen, one of the great stars of Dublin of the recent past. Allenbrook, Conal Keeney, McCauley, Alan Brogan, chances left foot on it. Well worthwhile. Yes, Alan Brogan. 17 points to 12. Good catch by Conal Keeney. Excellent catch. Brian Cullen's running off the ball for him. Available if he needs him. Keeney's got to go all the way, is he? Pulls it back to Tomas Quinn. That looks nice. And just to make doubly sure, it hits the far post and goes over the bar. Dublin stretch the lead to 5. And it's going to take goals to beat them now. Malone, Ling, PJ Banville, nice point. That's his first score today, PJ Banville. McCauley leaves it out there for Conal Keeney. The first half of the game belonged to Wexford, and certainly the second half of extra time belongs to Dublin. It's Tomas Quinn to take it for Dublin. And he's only been in since the extra time, and that's 4 points he scored. And it's all over at Croke Park, and Dublin have won the game, 2 goals and 16 points to 15 points.
Today's after hitting the guys. It's really, it hurt them. They put so much work, so much effort into this game. This game was just massive for us. Wexford haven't beaten Dublin for so long that this is a game that we really wanted to win so bad. And yeah, we're gutted, absolutely gutted. So it is going to be tough. It's really going to be tough to regroup, refocus, and you know, get ready for the qualifiers.
I said it was going to be difficult. I mean, there was an awful lot of young new players out there playing in Croke Park for the first time. But you know, a lot of character was shown, in fairness, when you're 6 points down to come back. So that has to be a positive for us. But I think we have to be patient with this group and give them a chance.
Yeah, no doubt it was a great comeback by Dublin in the end, but Tomas, it was a shocking start for them.
Oh, completely, very poor start. I felt that they didn't stick to their game plan. Part of their game plan, I thought, was that they bring fellas back into defence. Their work, that didn't work too well for them. Their work rate was very poor, and their kick play was terrible. Yeah. I thought in the first half we saw this 4 or 5 Dublin guys tracking back, but there's nobody working. There's nobody performing at all there, and they're just letting it through. If you are coming back, you have to work and you have to be doing something. Here we see again their kick play. Paul Flynn coming out with the ball here, an aimless kick, and Wexford win it again. Here we go again. They're caught up here with one man on the full forward line, and they kick an aimless ball into Wexford again. So there was a lot of that happening in the first half with Dublin.
Yeah, and what did you make of their first half, Anthony?
I suppose we always kind of look at Dublin with a lot more focus maybe than some other teams, and we always maybe tend to be a wee bit too critical of them. But their start was very poor. Their handling was poor. Their distribution was poor. It took them an awful long time to get going. Wexford 7 points up. You'd have thought they could have held out and won that game, but credit Dublin that they did when the game seemed to be beyond them. They dug deep, and fellas who hadn't been playing well started coming into the game, and really only for Bernard Brogan, you know, for a long time now Dublin looked totally out of sorts.
Give Wexford a bit of credit though as well, because they completely dominated for that spell, didn't they?
Well, they did, and you do have to give them a lot of credit, but it maybe wasn't that difficult because, as Tomas was saying, they were put under very, very little pressure by the Dublin players. But early on, you know, it was Wexford who were keener. They looked more determined, hungrier. The will to win was with the Wexford players. They were out in front. They were cutting through Dublin's defence really quite easily, which is something that would be a major concern to the Dublin management. And you see Eric Bradley going through there and kicking a great point. You had Graham Malloy at full back for long parts in the first half. He actually got the better of Bernard Brogan and knocking it away and doing his bit. But there you see again a lovely crossfield ball to Shane Ochu. He played quite well today. Nice shimmy and kicks a decent point. And for a long time, they caused Dublin a lot of trouble. And I suppose maybe I mentioned to Matty Ford 2 years out of the game with injury, and it was good to see him back today in a Wexford jersey kicking points, great points. Maybe he protected himself a little bit at times during the game, but good to see him back in a Wexford jersey.
We'll talk about that Dublin recovery in just a moment. Colm, your view on the game, you were there.
Well, I think neither game today was a particularly high standard, and Wexford controlled the game for about 3/4 of the game, and they'll go home tonight and they'll wonder how in God's name they let this slip, because they were 10-3 up, seemed to be totally in control. And, you know, in fairness, the Dublin older players, I thought, dug them out. When Conal Keaney, who had played poorly for most of the game, had a great last 20 minutes. Bernard Brogan brought on Mick McCauley, he did very well. Alan Brogan. And, you know, the old hands turned the tide a little. And as well as that, Wexford ran out of puff a little bit. Dublin seemed to be the fitter team. You know, people were having a bit of a laugh at Pat Gilroy with this 7 o'clock in the morning training and then training again at night. Well, you know, maybe we saw the value of it today.
Tomas, you were looking at the manner of the Dublin recovery.
Yeah. Well, I felt a few things that happened. First of all, their work rate increased in the second half, but I felt the introduction of Owen O'Gara and Michael McCauley made a huge difference. O'Gara took the Dublin or the Wexford guys on, and it kind of lifted Dublin a small bit. Then Michael McCauley, when he came on, he caught a great ball, and then once or twice he ran through the Wexford defence as well. We had a good bit of that. Then Dublin started playing longer ball in, and they eventually found, here we see McCauley coming in. But after a while, they started going back to the more conventional way of playing, where they had more forwards up in the forward line. We saw in the first half that they had very few back there, and then they started getting Bernard Brogan, and he was the big difference at the end. Scored a great goal then, and after a while he got another one. But Tomas Quinn, when he came on, Colm was saying that Conal Keaney had a big influence on it. So had Tomas Quinn, I think. He was able to get scores for them as well.
Brogan's deadly from that distance, isn't he?
He certainly was the class finisher on view today. And I was very impressed too with this Owen O'Gara, when he came on. He worked very hard. He may have looked a little bit awkward, but he was stuck in everything. He worked really hard and got a lot of good possession for Dublin.
There were 2 sendings off today, Anthony. Have a look at those for us.
Well, the first one I don't think Dublin can have any complaints about. Dennis Bastick really just he could easily have avoided the contact with the Wexford player, and you see it again in the replay. He just runs in, and he runs in with his knee and with his arms, and no need for that. Clear sending off.
There was no danger either to do that.
No, he just didn't need to do that, and that was at the stage of the game when Dublin had just started the revival. So, given that they were a man down, you know, it shows again how deep they had to dig. Gerard Brennan, no qualms about that. That's a yellow card. The 2 lads are a bit prone to foul him. We've saw them in the past. You know, they're both of an aggressive style, which at times goes beyond what's allowed in the rules. That is a very, very soft, in the extreme sense, for a yellow card. You know, there's minimal contact with Matty Ford, and really, that's in my opinion not a yellow card. And Gerard Brennan shouldn't have been sent off for that.
It's pretty harmless, all right, but you know, he was living dangerously too at the time, and
with
you
other
know,
frees haven't.
That's right, and of course his last championship match for Dublin and Croke Park in the Leinster final last year resulted in a sending off, and you know, a player on a yellow card really should be keeping his nose clean for the rest of the game, you know, because anything, you know, the referee then is in a position, if he makes a foul, will he give him a warning, will he send him off?
But is it going to get to the stage where if you're on a yellow card, then you don't touch anyone else on the pitch? Because
That's the danger.
That's merely with that second yellow card for me was he just touched him.
Well, it does appear as if Pat Gilroy has adopted a very aggressive style of play, and in the second half they really hunted down Wexford and took the ball off them a lot, and because of that style of play there's going to be a lot of physical confrontation.
All right then. Coming up after the break, the draw for the qualifiers